I'm a Canadian. My name's Greg. This is Trash Talk, where I go over 5 trash takes in about 5 minutes. And I know it's Christmas Eve, but you still got to take the trash out on Christmas Eve. Even if there's a crazy storm going on outside, let's just hop right into it. This is from CTV News. Trudeau says Canada is fortunate to be a country of peace in Christmas message. We'll look at that message later, but I thought it was interesting considering this news came out this week as well. 8 teen girls charged with murder in Toronto man's swarming death. 3 of the girls were 13 years old, 3 are 14 years old, and 2 are 16 years old. So although CTV News is talking about how peaceful this country is, according to Justin Trudeau, and then they also get out this headline from CTV News: case of teen girl group charged in man's death, atypical. Expert says, thank you, expert, for letting us know that a group of teen girls murdering a man is not typical. Yeah, at the very least, this sounds more like a bad omen for the country. I mean, teenage girls swarming and murdering a homeless guy, that is horrific. That is terrifying. And what did the Toronto Mayor John Tory have to say? He said, deeply disturbed by the details of the case. Everyone in our city deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. I am so saddened to know that a man has lost his life in this way. I'm sorry, I'm just pissed off because is this guy a mayor of Toronto, or is he a funeral director? Every time something like this happens, some sort of horrible act of violence happens, I'm really deeply disturbed, and guys, I'm really disappointed and upset. That's great. Awesome. Just roll out more caskets, John, and say you're deeply disturbed and do nothing at all about it. And in fact, not only that, you basically support all these liberal policies, you kind of rubber stamp all these liberal policies that completely ignore the existence of illegal guns, for example. You completely ignore the short-sightedness of all these liberal policies, which just quite frankly aren't tough on crime whatsoever. But moving on from that nice little tidbit, we have a tweet from Randy Boissonneau. I think that's how you say it, Boissonneau. Yesterday, parliamentarians united together to form the first multi-party 2S LGBTQIA+ caucus. I am a proud member of this new caucus. This Canadian Pride caucus is an important way to work together to improve the lives of Canadians, protect human rights, and promote inclusive values. Was the homeless guy that got murdered LGBTQ+? Were one of the teenage girls who swarmed and murdered this guy, were they LGBTQ+? Imagine if you were a parliamentarian and you just actually represented the Canadians of where you got elected. Imagine that. Imagine that you just got elected in your area and you represented those Canadians. And this really speaks to the problem of the whole diversity inclusion mess, right? It's we start to prioritize other groups on top of each other. Who's the bigger victim? Who's going to get more stuff? Who's going to get more attention? It's always so contradictory, all of this kind of woke ideology stuff, right? Because Trudeau will say a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Oh, actually no. 2 LGBTQ+, we need our own caucus to represent those Canadians, aside from the Canadians that I represent in my riding where I got elected. No, we need to cut up the little groups into more pieces. This isn't cultural Marxism at all. No, this is us doing our job. And really, what are the big plight? What's the homophobia that people are facing in Canada? Let's see what that hard-hitting stuff is, shall we?
A Calgary woman is speaking out tonight. She says she was discriminated against by a delivery driver when her gender was questioned by a courier dropping off her food order.
Oh, the humanity! You were misgendered? Guys, this is not news. This is not news. They did a whole video report on it on Global News. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean, but this is the person, he called me a man. Oh my God, the humanity. And I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm just covering my fingers over their face. It's like you got a plaid shirt on, you got your shirts in your pockets, you got short hair, it's spiky, you look butch. This isn't rocket science, okay? You're looking more masculine. Someone mistook you as a man, okay? It's really nothing that noteworthy or new. This has happened since the beginning of time. Tomboys, effeminate men. This is part of life. Okay, this isn't something to write a news report about or get a whole entire caucus of parliamentarians to do something about misgenderings. Yeah, maybe we should talk about the homeless people being murdered in the street by 13-year-old girls. Maybe that's a more important thing to be talking about than someone someone picking up their Uber Eats and being misgendered. Are you kidding me?
When her gender was questioned by a courier dropping off her food order.
And another thing I'm curious about, will this 2S LGBTQIA plus caucus be talking about all ages drag shows? Because that's a very hot topic right now. And this one, I don't think this drag show was in Canada, but I mean, this was my tweet about it. All ages drag shows are not trying to brainwash kids. All ages drag shows. Just look at these images, man. Like this show was absolutely crazy. Here's a clip from it right here.
You were such an awesome mom for bringing their kid out to a family-friendly drag show, ladies and gentlemen. Are you confused yet?
You get the idea. This is a burlesque show. This is like an off the wall kind of in your face sexual drag show, but it's for kids. And of course, my comment was, quote, drag queens are just teaching kids to read, right? Because that's the argument that these people make. No, all ages drag shows are great. It's great. They're just teaching kids to read. Yeah, they're teaching kids to read. What the hell is this?
Minty fresh. I had sex with my father's boss.
Like, is that really helping children be more confident? Because that's the other argument that these parents who bring their kids to these shows make, right? It's, oh no, this is going to instill confidence in my child watching this show. Why don't you try recreational sports? Maybe they should learn how to, kick the soccer ball around and learn about teamwork. Why are we going to a drag show? Why is that the most immediate thing that you're going to show your kid to help them build confidence? And this is something that we should be talking about, but isn't it interesting that I doubt that this LGBTQ plus caucus, they'll probably be the last person to talk about that because that community is beyond reproach. You can't criticize the LGBTQ plus community. No, they are untouchable. Nothing they've done has ever been wrong, right? It's completely ridiculous. And this really speaks to a reason why I kind of decided to stay in politics some years ago. It's because I noticed that no one is standing up for children anymore in this country. No one's showing any amount of concern. None of the grown-ups are being grown-ups about it whatsoever. When things like this are going to get passed off as like kid friendly, we're going to be terrifying children, talking to them about climate change and all this craziness, giving them all sorts of anxieties that they should not be thinking about or experiencing for years. And of course, I don't even have to talk about the last few years forcing them to wear masks and all that nonsense. But I do think part of the reason why this is happening is that the grown-ups, quite simply, are acting like children themselves. And they get treated like children from their federal government. This next little video is from Omar Alghabra. Santa, it's time. Will my mission to authorize Santa in the Canadian airspace be successful? Watch this to find out. You may have seen this. It's like an action trailer. It's all intense and it's got, oh, what's going on?
Santa's cleared for travel in Canadian airspace. He's coming. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and stay safe.
These people are supposed to be representing us and ensuring that our quality of lives are better, and they're busy making propaganda like this for children. That's where we're at in Canada. Our public officials spend more time and money making these little propaganda videos and probably paying off their friends than they actually do giving a crap about taking care of Canada and Canadians. And I actually think it's kind of funny to make a propaganda video about Santa, because it's like, you might as well believe in Santa at this point. You might as well believe in Santa based on all the things that you're saying. Yes, climate change, plastic straws are going to save us from this winter storm that we're experiencing right now, right? It's all just a fairy tale, really. And here's another creepy Christmas message from Theresa Tam.
Why, hello, Dr. Tam.
Mrs. Claus, so good to see you again. Where did Santa go?
Oh, Santa was late for snow yoga with the elves and reindeer. He says it's great cross-training for sleigh driving.
And this is what I mean. We say that these clips are just for kids, then why is there a humor for adults in it? Hey, Santa's out at yoga with the elves for cross-training. Like, these are jokes for grown-ups. The video's for kids, but really it's to coach the grown-ups to further indoctrinate their children, right?
1. Stay up to date on your vaccinations.
This stuff is sick. This stuff is so sick. We should not be spending time or money on propaganda like this, but of course it's become the norm, right? And I really hope I never have to meet somebody who takes this stuff seriously, because wow, they are far gone. But in the same vein of that, here's another tweet from Trudeau, another video with Zelensky.
Hello, Volodymyr.
Hello, Justin. Really happy to continue our dialogue. Happy to hear you.
I'm sorry. I can't even watch these without laughing. These are just terrible short films. They're very, very bad short films. I can't imagine watching this and thinking that it's like real. And it probably should be emphasized, Zelensky is an actor. Like, he was on TV before becoming the Ukraine prime minister. And this guy, that's all he ever really did, was an actor before he became prime minister. So these films, man, like the propaganda in 2022 is totally Looney Tunes, is it not? It's crazy, but I recommend not watching too much of it because it's really, really bad for you. I think your mind, body, and soul. Just keep moving on. Put the phone down, spend time with your loved ones if they're around. But of course, this last trash take, of course, comes from Trudeau, and this one's really painful to watch. I just wanted to take out this one part from his Christmas message because it was especially hypocritical and frustrating to hear him say this.
This year, I'm thinking of Canadians who go the extra mile to make our country a better place. I'm thinking of members of the Canadian Armed Forces who are protecting our country and the values we share.
I don't think there's anyone in recent history who has treated Canadian Armed Forces members and veterans, Canadian veterans, worse than Mr. Trudeau. So those words coming out of his mouth are just especially insulting and offensive. And he even said they go the extra mile to stand up for our values and freedoms. Justin Trudeau never even referenced the existence of James Topp, who went the extra mile marching across the entire country to stand up for our fundamental rights and freedoms, specifically that of bodily autonomy, because he was protesting vax mandates in the military. Was not even mentioned once by Mr. Trudeau, and James Topp and his team and all of his followers and all of his supporters were completely dismissed, dehumanized, smeared in the media, hardly even mentioned. This is like the only headline that I could even find. So shout outs to Sask Today, military vet marching across Canada to protest Ottawa's overreach during pandemic. This is the only headline that I could find that actually told the story concisely. These are the other headlines you find when you Google James Topp. 4 arrested after soldier charged for criticizing mandates lands in Ottawa. Court-martial planned for soldier who criticized mandate led march to Ottawa. The march started in Vancouver, guys. That's an important detail to mention, that the march started in Vancouver. And another one from CBC, anti-mandate groups returns to Ottawa, but future of movement uncertain amid arrests and divisions. This is about James Topp. They don't even want to mention James Topp, a Canadian Armed Forces veteran who marched across the entire country. The hatred and disgust that Justin Trudeau receives is so well deserved. I am so tired of talking about him. I'm so tired of seeing him. And I'm so tired of propaganda videos like this that are just more empty words. It's more empty words from a shell of a man, from a puppet of a man. But if you're watching this, you probably already know how much of a mess Canada is in so many different ways. This is from Blacklock's reporter. They do a lot of great exposés. High-profile Canadians may be in China's pay, warns Safety Canada memo. Feds do not name names. Well, isn't that convenient? If a federal employee is getting paid by a foreign nation, does that not fall under the grounds of treason? I don't know, but of course, only Blacklocks will report this, and you'll probably never hear it hit CTV Global News because they're paid off by the Canadian federal government, as you know. But I do want to end on a cheerful note. This is Artur Pawlowski, Christmas celebration with Pastor Artur Pawlowski and Canadian hockey legend Theo Fleury. See you this Sunday in Calgary, Olympic Plaza in front of Calgary City Hall at 1 p.m. We will have carolers, 888 Alberta Steaks, hamburgers, and gifts for the poor, streetchurch.ca. You guys may know Artur Pawlowski as the pastor in Calgary who got thrown in jail multiple times during the lockdowns and everything. But before that, he had been arrested before for simply feeding the homeless in Calgary. Artur Pawlowski is a legend. He's been feeding the homeless in Calgary for 2 decades. And of course, the media and politicians don't like to talk about Artur because it makes the politicians and media look bad because they're pointing at somebody who is actually charitable. But it's amazing. He's doing it during the holiday season this Christmas in downtown Calgary. And big shout outs to Theo Fleury for going out to this event to feed the homeless with them. Love Theo Fleury, freedom fighter, Canadian hockey legend, and somebody who stands up for children. Imagine that. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Become a member on Facebook or YouTube or Patreon, and there's donation links below if you want to help out during the holidays. We will talk to you soon. Merry Christmas.